I'm here for a good time.
Bro, we can. That's going to be dangerous. We may have to scratch this whole thing, dude.
That you told me that.
I know. I'm excited about it. So, what we need to do is we need to make sure that Gavin has a mic next time. All right?
Yeah.
We do these after hours. I mean, he's just volunteering his time. This is why this is the fun part about it. Gavin is our Jamie, by the way. If you're a Joe Rogan guy, Gavin's our Jamie. So, like,
when we need to Google something, we just
Jamie. Yeah. Hey, look that up. Hey, can you pull this up for us? Be great. But no, dude, like, you and I connected, right? Because, honestly, mostly because of our kids, right?
Yep. Cub Scouts, slinging popcorn.
Slinging. My kid was so much better than all those other children.
He crushed it.
He was,
father, like son.
Humble brag on the boy. His per hour sales dwarfed. The problem is we only went out twice, so he came in 6th place.
It's about efficiency, though.
Hey,
efficiency is high.
Honestly, I'm so bad at the Slack app or whatever. There's 2 apps, and they don't They don't fit into my life. So
they don't fit into anyone's life.
Bro, I have no idea how to communicate with Cub Scouts. They are a lovely breed of people that I am trying to figure out because, like we're well, no, and I don't say that to be mean. Like they're dude, they're so into it, and I desperately want my kid to be so into it. I'm a terrible Scouts dad. Like Gavin grew up at Scouts, not me. Gavin's like, dude, it's gonna be so great for your kid. I'm like, I can't even remember to take him to troop meetings, dude. Can't remember it.
Well, see, that's the problem. We don't have a troop.
We
have a pack.
Dude, it's just another set of terms that I'm never gonna remember. All right, but so
show up and sell popcorn. That's all you need to do.
Well, I know you want me to be the colonel.
The colonel.
Wear that stupid hat.
Colonel Greifenkamp.
I would have it would be such a tiny hat on my giant head. It'd be really bad. What's the deal, man? How what's your story? How'd you end up out in Fairview? How are you and I in the same neighborhood? Where are you from? What do you do? Tell us about your family. Kind of give us the 30,000 foot flyover, me.
30,000 foot view of Brennen. Grew up in Franklin, Tennessee. Was homeschooled, which is probably why I'm in Scouts now, but I wasn't in Scouts. That's new. Homeschooled, mostly not awkward, a little bit awkward kid. Played basketball, football. Went to college. Met my wife on a mission trip in Uganda.
Well, hold on, back up. Where'd you go to college at?
Trevecca Nazarene University.
Man, I know a bunch of guys getting various divinity or theology degrees over there. That's kind of that's the spot here in the greater Nashville area, Middle Tennessee.
It's a good spot, especially they're big on what's the word? Graduate programs.
Gotcha. Yep.
They love their MBAs and their theology degrees and all that.
Gotcha. All right. So you meet on a missions trip in Uganda.
Met in Uganda. Stayed in touch. Started dating over the phone. May have kissed on Skype a couple times. You know, you got to do your thing.
That's weird.
Hey,
where was she from?
Brennen in the Raw.
Hold on. She's from where?
She is from the great state of Connecticut.
Oh, you tricked her to come here, huh?
Oh, she doesn't want to go back.
It's fair. Her parents are going to.
God bless the Yankees.
Or grandparents or somebody.
Yep. No. God bless the Yankees. But she wants to be here. It's a good place. Tennessee's a good place.
It is.
She moved here. We got engaged. Well, we got engaged and then she moved here.
What's our timeline? Like, how long ago is this?
We got married in 2013.
Okay.
Met 2011, engaged 2012, married 2013. First kid 2014, second kid 2015.
Well, it's good to keep all the years relevant.
Big things every summer. You know?
Okay.
Met, engaged, married, kid. Then we figured out how it worked and we slowed down.
And then
how does it work?
No.
What you're asking?
Bro, I promise not on this one. No, we're here to talk about Jesus, not sex ed, homeboy. What
he created sex.
What were the other years for the kids? Wait, so what were the years for the kids? What were they?
Isaac was born in 2014. 2014. Charlie 2015.
Yeah.
Noah 2020.
2020. Okay. So.
Yep.
I was gonna say because I know Charlie is the same age as Reed.
Yep. Charlie's in Scouts with Reed.
Yeah.
Second grade.
Bro. Scouts tough. Are you gonna coach soccer with me this year?
If you put your name as head coach,
I will do.
I will support you.
Will you come
all
on?
day? Yes.
Okay, so I'll be the head coach because here's the thing, man.
I'm in.
I've like.
I don't want to get the emails.
No, here's the deal. First Saturday of every month, I can't be at the games. I've got men's breakfast at the church. So you can hold down the fort while I'm gone.
I got it.
You're the dude.
I'm in. Right.
Gavin, you coming to coach soccer? No? Okay.
I thought that was Jamie.
Well, yeah, I mean, his name's really Gavin. He's our Jamie, but his name's still Gavin. All right. So, and he doesn't get to be my Jamie all the time. Like, if we do this during work hours, he's got to work.
It's got to be Gavin.
He got to be Gavin.
After 5, he's Jamie.
Well, no, he's still Gavin. We should still let him be Gavin. We got to get you a mic. Just stretch that one out. Use that mic. We got to hook up the 4th mic. Get it over by you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be too far.
Nah, let's see.
Excuses.
Yeah, I think you're making mistakes here. You're breaking it? That's all right. You're allowed to. But all right. So look. So here's the deal. We are, you and I connect, right? So we were doing, we're selling popcorn, right? We're selling popcorn. I show up to the place. You're already there. Had not met you. We were, you were the 2-hour time block prior to us
roasting in the sun.
And I show up. I have no idea what I'm doing. We'd never done popcorn before, and I didn't even know you were I didn't know what a kernel was. I don't
think anyone knows what a kernel is.
But you were like,
but I'm it.
You're like, hey, I'm Brennen. What do you do? And I'm like, I do mortgages. You're like, I do insurance. We have to hang out. And I'm
absolutely.
Like, you're my guy. You're my people. Your forward is all get out. So, so we started hanging. It turns out, right? Kids are in soccer. Kids the same age. And then your son crushes my boy.
I mean, we don't need to bring it up
with a ball.
Did you get him checked out after that?
He's concussed.
But Charlie pulled a whole. I mean, Lionel Messi in there, just reared back, smoked.
So he's getting. I'll get the lingos all wrong. The words wrong, but the lingos. No, I'll get the words wrong. But like, is that a free kick? Is that what that's considered in the middle of the field?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know soccer well enough.
No, same. So, and that's what sucks. I'm the head coach. I don't
field goal.
Yeah, so he's kicking a field goal, right? So the ref, who's high school kids, right? So no blame on the ref. This kid's, you got a 16-year-old, 17-year-old that needs to tell 8-year-olds what to do, and the 8-year-olds are not listening.
And they talk about this loud.
Right.
The refs. Oh my gosh.
Hey,
bless him.
Hey, can you back up?
Teach your kids to
So he
speak
doesn't
louder.
tell. So he's supposed to get all the kids on the other team backed up so that your son can take this kick, right? And they're about midfield.
Yep.
Well, my kids don't know to back up because their coach doesn't know that they're supposed to back up. But luckily, my assistant coach does know. Yeah, that was me. The assistant coach does know, right? So Coach James is yelling that, hey, you got to get the kids back. Well, wherever the miscommunication is or lack of communication lies, the kids don't get back. Your boy just takes off, kicks that ball, crushes it, by the way. And it smacks Reed so hard in the face, takes him off his feet. And Reed is my sensitive kid. I love Reed. He's great. He's my sensitive boy. He is sobbing on the field. Now, mind you, like 4 minutes later, he's fine. He's fine. He's playing soccer. No lasting results. But now I have to walk out there, and I've got to balance. Am I dad in this moment, or am I coach in this moment? And I gave him like the 12 seconds of dad. Are you good? You all right? You okay? Yeah. Get up, boy. You have to play.
Yep. Yep. Well,
man,
I should probably apologize, but hey.
Nah.
He's got a good set of legs on.
Nah. Yeah, you ain't got to apologize for nothing, man. Hey, man, these boys got to grow up. So, all right. So you do insurance. What's the story there, man? Like, what's the deal with your insurance?
Slinging Insurance. I started in 2017. Where are we at? 7 years.
Yeah.
I was selling Aflac, the duck on TV, Nick Saban, quack quack.
Gilbert Godfrey back in the day.
I don't remember him.
That's the early days of Aflac. That cell phone tone brought to you in part by
Jamie.
Gavin. Hey, bud, can you turn off all the noisemakers, you noob?
Hey, I silenced my phone. Put on Do Not Disturb. I'm prepared.
Tell your wife you'll call her back.
It's actually Clay.
Oh, that's funny. He just called me, too. So, text Clay. Let him know.
Let's get him on.
Let him know we're busy.
On camera. Come on.
I'd love to get Clay in here, man. Clay's a good dude.
Yeah, insurance. I started with Aflac. selling employee benefits. I cut my teeth. It was 100% commission.
Yep.
Cold calling 100 people a day. It was rough. Wasn't fun. I did it for 3 years until I got to the point where it felt like I made it, more or less, and qualified for the sales trips. And then COVID hit, and I'm like, man, I really, everyone reevaluated their life. I realized I hated it, didn't want to do it.
So you were doing Aflac all the way up into 2020.
Yep.
Okay.
Got out of it at that point and dabbled around in a couple other things, trying to figure out what I'm doing, and then ended up in the property and casualty insurance world.
Little P&C for you?
Little P&C, which it's not exciting, let me tell you folks, but I love the game. I love that game way more than I love Aflac.
Okay.
God bless Aflac.
So tell me about the last 3 years. How does that kind of play out for you? What does it look like to you transition from kind of this the Aflac people wouldn't like this, right? But supplemental insurance.
Yep.
Right. To now this is the stuff people really do need. And I'm not saying they don't need Aflac. I just don't care, honestly.
No, the government requires you to have auto insurance.
Yep.
If you have a mortgage, which how many people have a mortgage? 80% of Americans?
I don't can you Google that one? I don't know that.
Google that one. If you have a mortgage, you need homeowners insurance.
Yep.
And if you don't have a mortgage, you still need it. You're just not required to have it. So it's way easier to sell. The game is figuring out how to help people, make it cheap.
Just positioning people.
Showing up.
Being
a resource for people.
Because there's let's be fair. How many call centers are there that people can just call into and get a quote? You know what I mean?
So many.
Who's the big who's the big .com in your space? Is it the Progressive,
Geico, Progressive, okay. Travelers,
gotcha.
All those.
They don't have. I mean, I know.
Look at all the animals on TV. Emu, the gecko, Liberty Mutual.
Liberty Mutual.
Yeah,
Washington Mutual's investments.
Yeah. Just look at the animals. Don't use a call center.
No, well,
that's all I gotta say about insurance.
All right, so then
even if you use the same company, go through a local person.
So then tell me this. I'm curious, and I'm gonna look. I'm just gonna ask stuff. If you don't got a good answer, you can just go. I don't know. I'm good with that too. But all right. So in the mortgage world, right, over the last couple, we'll call it last 4 years, right, been wildly volatile. Yeah, and I'll say volatile just because it's so unstable, right? I mean, it goes every different direction. You don't
paradise to the desert.
Well, and it's all good, right? But it's we've had to field, we know. I think it's well documented the ebbs and flows of the housing market, right? But with the housing market, I gotta imagine that it's impacting homeowners insurance, right?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Values have skewed a ton. You've got, you went from properties changing hands, left and right to now, we're at almost 30-year lows when it comes to, sale transactions, real estate transactions, right? So,
right.
What does that do for the average homeowner? How's that impact? The new home buyer, what are those implications that you see that are hey, we're paying attention to this when maybe no one else is, or hey, here's some things that, in previous markets, you really didn't have to pay too much attention. These kind of took care of themselves and stayed off our radar. What's that look like? If I gave you access to all my past clients and my current clients, what are you saying? What are you advising them on that the Geicos and Progressives, the .coms, not to rain on them?
Yep.
What are you doing that they're not?
So most people don't know how insurance works to start. You need a local person to help educate you, help you walk through it.
Sure.
So what the .coms are not telling you is they're just trying to get you the quickest policy they can, generally the cheapest policy they can to start. They're going to give you a cheap policy to start, then it's going to keep jacking you up year over year. But if you have any level of claim, if you call into a call center, you're like, hey, we had a windstorm. Oh, let's put a claim in. We're going to come out. We're going to check it out, see if we can help you. Every time you put in a claim, that hurts your insurance score. And then that ends up coming back and biting you in the butt.
It's like a general rating system, right?
A general rating system. And then what we're finding in the last couple of years is, you've had all the inflation issues, the skyrocketing housing prices, but then you've also had all of the natural disasters. So if you live in California, you live in Florida, your insurance has gone up 90+% in the last 2 years.
Damn.
It's insane. Florida was 88% up on average last year alone. So the prices are crazy, but that's because they're trying to compensate for all of the claims that are coming in. You don't need to put a claim in if it's something small. If it's something $1,000, $2,000, you need to be able to pay for that yourself versus calling a claim in. Because if you put 2 claims in a year, your insurance company's dropping you. If your insurance company drops you, the next insurance company isn't going to want you. Then you got to go to some wholesale broker and pay 5 times as much just to have it.
Gotcha. So you're getting out there in front of them and going, hey, all right, when you got a problem, you call me and I'm going to actually advise you.
I want to advise you. I want you, if you have to file a claim, what I tell all my clients, call me first. Call me, tell me if it's worthy of filing a claim, and we'll help you.
Gotcha.
And I'll help you know how it's going to impact you, because one type of claim will impact you worse than another type of claim.
Gotcha. So does the slowdown then in like transactions, right? The number of people buying homes, you've seen a lot of ebb and flow in, new build starts, right? So with, construction companies building new homes, does that play into how, a current homeowner needs to protect themselves?
Yeah. Insurance companies are always going to automatically increase the dwelling value based off of inflation. If they say your home's worth $200,000 and they estimate inflation's up 10%, they're going to automatically increase it to $220,000.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about that.
You use good math, by the way.
Thank you.
I was worried that you were going to make it $210,000.
Thank you.
That
social justice degree is doing me justice. I'm just kidding.
Did you get a degree in social justice?
A degree in social justice. You want to know what it was? God bless Trevecca Nazarene University. Love you all. It was a degree in volunteering for me.
Okay.
I'm not going to make any money off it.
My wife has a degree in sign language interpretation. Yeah. It's made us $0 and cost her dad a couple bucks.
Yeah, I've definitely I spent more than I've made in that world. What were we talking about?
You're talking about how home values are naturally going to be assessed up by the insurance company for your replacement costs.
Yep, they will do that. That being said, it is a best practice to talk to your insurance agent every year. 90% of people aren't going to do that.
What am I talking about annually with my insurance guy? You
just want to know, is my dwelling value reflecting what it's actually worth? Because nobody wants to have a worst case scenario. We in Fairview a couple weeks ago, where we live, Horn Tavern, house burned down to the ground. That doesn't happen to everybody.
Right.
I mean, that's the only house in Fairview that's burned down since I've lived there for 4 years.
Okay.
But it happens. It happens to that one person.
Sure does.
When that happens, you don't want your $400,000 house to be rebuilt for $200,000 for half the square footage.
Right.
You want it to be rebuilt as is with your custom granite countertops and whatever else is in there. So you want to make sure it's reflecting what the current value is worth. So that worst case scenario, and that's another thing is people don't know. People want to have the lowest deductible possible. If I have to put in a roof claim, I don't want to pay anything. But you want to insure against the $400,000 claims, not against the $4,000 claims.
Well, let's be fair. Insurance is meant for the fact that I don't have the ability to pay for it out of pocket, right?
Yep.
So
if the health insurance market has taught us that it's our maintenance program,
right? If I can afford to pay a $5,000 deductible, well, I'd rather pay that out of pocket.
Yep.
Also, because then it's my insurance costs less.
Yep.
Correct. Right. And I've got less. Yep. I've got less exposure in the claims. Those smaller claims. I've got up to $5,000 in repair costs. That isn't a claim, jacking up the cost for me when a tornado comes through and rips my house down.
Yep.
Am I right in that? Because that's how it's the same way I view life insurance. I carry a good amount of life insurance, exactly, but I'm only carrying it for my exposure. Right. Not so that my wife is well off, right? As I earn and save and invest, that is meant to push my life insurance out of the picture.
You want to self-insure as much as possible.
Correct.
It is risk management. It is not a maintenance program.
Right. It's it's like all these companies that call you.
Insurance is not getting your oil changed.
Yeah.
Insurance is when you total your car and you can't replace a $50,000 truck.
All right. So tell me this. So because here's what happens a ton. I've got I would say probably anybody in the mortgage space would tell you significantly increase number of clients in the last, whatever, call it 3 years, right? Not quite 3 years, but really since we started to watch rates go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of moving, because they've got these, 2.5, right, interest rate, they've gone and they've taken, home equity lines of credit, stuff like that. They've taken it out on their home, and they have built into their house, right? So they go $50,000 into a basement, right? Or they add on a 3 seasons room, 4 seasons room, depending on state. They're finishing out previously unfinished attic space. They're like, for the people doing that stuff, if I'm making improvements to my home that increase the value of my house, what would I do? Like, what's the logical thing that I should do to protect myself with relation to you, my insurance guy?
Best practice would be that you send an email or a text to your insurance agent and ask, do I need to change anything? Pretty much no one's going to do that.
Just as simple as
next thing you do, since no one's going to do that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to find an insurance agent that's going to reach out to you every year and ask you, have you made any changes or updates to the house?
Who might that be?
That's where your local friendly neighborhood, or your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man comes in.
Yeah, man, if you're going to quote Marvel, you got to get it right.
Sorry.
Hey, with great responsibility.
I was just watching it this week with my boys.
I did it wrong on purpose. See? Great power.
Comes great responsibility.
Jeez,
Thank you, Tobey Maguire.
It's funny. They've made fun of that in the other ones too. What's Garfield, right? What's his name?
The new one's Tom Holland, right?
Yeah, but is it Tom Holland?
Yeah.
I'm so bad at this stuff.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm questioning myself now.
Andrew Garfield is the other Spider-Man. He didn't
go off. Yeah, he was the in-between.
I liked him better than Toby.
Yeah. Tom's doing a good job, though.
Yeah, but he's out, dude. He's young, has a bunch of money, and doesn't want to stay Spider-Man for the rest of his life.
I mean, he made 3 good movies.
No, but he needs to stick around, all right? Because if my kids are going to keep making me watch these movies, and I need some of the originals, which, not that he's an original, but he got in right on the tail end of the good stuff.
Yep.
And I need that to stick around, because if I got to watch a Marvels, right, with Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and Junior Marvel and
I don't think I don't watch that one.
I can't watch it, and my kids
They're getting worse.
Do it.
They're getting worse.
They're brutal. They're awful. And now I get to be the old guy who was like, Iron Man was the best.
That's right.
Just be angry about this stuff, man.
He died. Forever in my heart, Tony Stark.
Nah, he's coming back. Dude, they got a time stone, bro. They have to, because no one wants to watch the movies. They have to travel back in time, figure out a way to get him back alive, because the box office is dying.
They're probably going to do it with Loki. You watch Loki?
I did. I enjoyed that show.
Loki's going to bring him back.
I'm just telling you, there's a problem that Chris Hemsworth cannot carry this thing. He's big, strong. I would never say that in front of him, because he's a terrifying human being.
I connect very intimately with Fat Thor.
Yeah, no, Fat Thor is my spirit animal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fat Thor's my spirit animal. Just long beard, belly out. Look, I kind of look like Fat Thor, minus muscles and the better beard.
Maybe you should name this podcast Fat Thor.
Ooh, that might be like copyright issues, right? I'm just saying.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Copyright issue.
Hey, can we get Fat Thor trademarked? Can we hold on to copyrights? I don't know that stuff, man. Look, but all right, man. So all right, so you and I, we start connecting, right? We start kind of hanging out. Tell me about Deco. Because, here's the thing. I'm just using this as my excuse to learn enough about you, because
all right,
Deco is this cool thing that I think is a cool thing, but I also don't know enough to know if it's really a cool thing, or maybe you just lied to me, which is possible.
I think that's how I feel, even though I've been in it for 2 years.
Oh, like you don't know if it's cool? Or
it's probably sort of like the Freemasons.
Like it's not
as you go in,
yeah,
like
it's not
the more
a secret
committed
society. It's a society of secrets.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want in on that, man.
We don't want to. I mean, that's the thing. We love Jesus. We don't want to be a society of secrets.
Okay.
All right. So Deco, it is a collaborative of professionals that are tied by their conservative political values love of Jesus, and what's the word? Interest in real estate investment.
Okay.
We got, a few dozen members, and it sort of operates as a co-working space / mastermind / just a real estate community. If you need a house that you want, wholesaled house, if you need a development property, if you want to build, everybody's in there. We have everybody but a lender. We got GCs, we have insurance, we have agents, no lenders.
That's his recruitment. I'm not even anti it. To be fair, I asked you for more info on it.
Yep.
Right, and you said that there's some opportunities that are going to be coming up to get in at a good spot.
Yep.
And I am interested and intrigued in this.
Yep.
Like if I can hang out with a group of guys and gals that are all after Jesus.
Yep.
And my tie out to that is that if you're truly pursuing Jesus, you're going to come from a place of abundance.
Yep.
Right. You come cup overflowing. You come to give, right? To contribute, to not keep score.
Yep.
Right. And those are the people that I look for, because that's how I try to approach those situations too. And when people come from a place of scarcity, and it's just like, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? That's what those for me are the people that always kind of they are the leeches of life in those situations, and I just can't.
Scarcity is not allowed.
I can't jive.
I'll just pull that out right now. Yeah, it's
especially in that humidor.
Especially in that humidor. Yep. Gotta love that humidor. I was in there today.
I'm glad you do. I mean, you're the one who bought it with a couple guys and filled it up. So, sorry, did I just upset you with with me dropping my phone on the table? There, can I do is anything to upset the guy listening to all the audio levels?
That's enjoyable.
Really like you can't hear it. So, all right, man. So, like, tell me, like, you got some property investments?
I have my personal property and then one rental property right now.
Yeah.
Trying to grow, adding about one a year is the goal.
All right.
Not sure if that's going to happen this year.
No, that's where we're at, man. I think so property investing is such a strange topic right now, right? Because, on one side you get everybody sees, right? I think it's pretty easy to see that home values are a great thing to be behind, right? If you can be propped up on home values as far as like investments goes, most people would agree they want to be there, right? Yep. It's this I don't want to call it delusional, but like there's this cultural narrative that's being just driven to no end about how 7 and 8% interest rates somehow make it a bad investment.
Right.
But
historically that's a great investment.
Oh, well, not only is it a great investment, but let's be fair. If you're looking at investment properties, right, it's really about making sure that your cash on cash returns make sense, right? Making sure your cash flow makes sense, right? Making sure that, like, for example, like a DSCR loan, a debt service credit ratio. Well, if the interest rate was 25%, but the ratio is 1 or above, which just means that the monthly payment on it is less than what it would pull in a fair rental value,
right?
Then who cares what the interest rate is?
What is y'all's minimum ratio
on a DSCR? So on a DSCR, what's that?
Is it 1?
No. We got DSCR that goes down to, I was just looking at it the other day, I think 0.7 is where we bottom out.
Okay.
But again, you got to be careful in those settings. So let me wrap this. Let me tie out this point up. Let me put a bow on this because I don't want this to become kind of confusing in like a foreign language, right?
All right.
So DSCR, debt service credit ratio, right? That is just the idea that can the house, right? Can it cover its own payment? Right. So you take the PITI, right? Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, the full payment on that home. And then you go, what is the fair rental value of that home in the market? And an appraiser determines that. So if the payment on it is $2,000 and the rental value is $2,000 a month, that is a 1, right? That is an even 1 for 1. Okay. Now, it used to be on DSCRs, these debt service credit ratio loans, that you couldn't go below 1. There wasn't a lot of investors willing to go sub 1. But what these investors realized is that what's coming to the market in investment properties is an abundance of properties that represent a very similar scenario. You know, the current seller has owned that place for 20, 30, 40 years. They've had no mortgage on it for quite some time. And because they haven't had a payment on it pushing them to keep up with rental values, they've gone, well, my tenant's such a great tenant. I'm already making money at the current rent. I'm not going to raise the rent.
Yep.
So these properties aren't, right? If you know, an appraiser can go and determine the value of it, but if it has a current tenant in it, you're using the current lease on that property. So if the rental value on it's $2,000 and the payment's $2,000, but the current tenant's paying $1,400, well, now you got to go 14 to 2, right? And now we're in a 70% DSCR.
With the intention to raise that.
Well, yeah,
above one as soon as
and let's be
possible.
fair, it's unfortunate, right? But the reality is that's what the rental value is, and your new buyers aren't coming in going, "You've been such a good tenant for so long," and that's an unfortunate case. But I promise you this: the seller knows that their tenant's good deals run out when they sell the place.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They got to honor the lease for as long as that lease has left on it.
Yep.
But if that lease is up in 90 days, then then that current renter can just foregone conclusion they're getting notice that their rent's going up.
And that's a whole nother topic on property management.
Right.
We need to get into.
Sure, but that's why I say, so then on these DSCRs, that's why they allow you to go a bit lower. But I'll tell you this, I'll say for every situation where like you now get into short-term rentals, right? Your long-term rentals, your year-long leases, 6-month leases, 18-month leases, whatever, you know, those are situations where you're typically going to be one, maybe a little bit lower. These short-term rentals, which is a brand new world, right? Short-term rental in being calculated for the purpose of qualifying with a DSCR type of loan is brand new. And I don't want to call it the Wild West because I think that would convey that it's kind of real loose and gunslinger. It's not.
Right.
It's actually really hard to substantiate because there isn't any standards to it yet. You know, so you get these websites like AirDNA. Well, no. So here's the thing: is you ask your appraiser, right? The appraiser's still going to put the long-term rental value on it.
Sure.
Then you go, hey, can you establish the short-term rental? They'll say no because they're nervous too, right? There's no appraisal standards yet. So then it's, well, can you comment on it? Which means if they're commenting, they're giving an opinion, but they're not willing to establish it essentially.
Right.
Right. They're coming up short of establishing that number. So let's say they go, well, you know, on a short-term rental, well, we're going to say it's, I'm going to say instead of that $2,000 long-term rental value, it's a $2,500 short-term rental. But I'm only commenting on that's my speculation.
Right.
Based on what I could possibly
6,000,
know.
7,000.
Right. So, and then like AirDNA. AirDNA is not universally accepted just yet. AirDNA is a pretty good website if you're looking to get into short-term rental. AirDNA will give you for a price, a pretty penny.
Sponsor plug?
No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying, like, they're the authority, right? Like,
yeah.
No, I'm not getting sponsored by anybody. Are you kidding me? No one's listening. You know what I mean? Like, this is just my therapist said I need a creative outlet. All right, we're doing this thing. No, but like, you know, you get into this spot where you're like, all right, I need something that'll guide me. And if you're going into short-term rental, like, let's be fair, there's some other platforms you can get into. AirDNA is the 800-pound gorilla in that space. You know what I mean? They are the ones where you can pick any metropolitan area for the most part, and you can buy rights to have access to all of that data in real time.
Right.
So you can go, okay, if I've got a condo that is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo in downtown Nashville, that's 600 square feet and has one parking spot available, here's what that fair rental value is. Now, I'll tell you, I use that example because even in that situation, I've got a client we just closed on downtown in those Hive developments.
Okay.
Right. And it was 700 square foot, sorry, 712 square feet, $715,000. Right. It's talking $1,000 a square foot.
All right.
Comes fully furnished. It's an option. And they did that. That's included in this one. And they manage it for you. And at a pretty fair fee, right? Monthly fee, a pretty fair percentage. But their pro forma, right, when you first start getting into the numbers on it, their pro forma is showing that that unit's going to pull 90,000 year one. It might.
Cool.
It may, but the rental value on it, long-term rental, normal appraisal stuff, was like $3,500. Not 7,500. Right? 75. Yeah, I think 7,500 would be net 90 grand. It was 35. It felt way short.
Yep.
Well, then by the time we got the appraiser to comment on it, and then we got an Air DNA report on it, we got it up to like 40. I want to say it was like $4,300. Yeah, plus or minus, but like $4,300 a month. Still, at that point, way short of what their pro forma is showing. Now, I can tell you this. We were able to get it done instead of like it was almost a 1.3 ratio. We ended up dropping down to like a 0.75 ratio on it.
Okay.
We still got it done, and I've followed up with them since then. Like, how's this performing? They're like, it's slaying.
Awesome.
Just like, it's, they've had it just a couple months. They're starting to flirt with what that pro forma said they should be hitting. They're crushing anything Air DNA said, anything, because again, just a different setup. It's very unique. Nothing is like the thing next to it,
right.
And there's no standardization for it. So that's where it's like, you've got to have, if you're going to get into some of those numbers, you got to have kind of an idea about the numbers. You got to have some of your own assurities, but you also got to have a little bit of liquidity that helps you.
Yep.
Right. Too many people are first-time investors that want to get into that game. Right. Yeah. As opposed to going, I'm going to go pick up a 3-unit townhouse. And maybe if I'm a first-time home buyer, I'm going to live in one of the units. I'm going to buy it as a primary
house hack.
I'm going to know that, well, I would automatically, I'm going to have less of a payment, but should maybe one of the units sit empty, I know that I can cover that, right? I've run the math on some of those scenarios, and I'm playing a pretty safe game early on. Down the road, you can start hedging your bets against your other assets. Take whatever risk you want. You'll have experience in your back pocket. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Right? But, man, too many people I talk to, they're like, well, we own our first home, with a mortgage, with, 80% of it financed, and we want to buy $1 million condo in this XYZ city. And it's like, that's such a bad move. Like, property investing needs to happen. You have to start in the right spot. You have to have people in your corner and on your team that are your coaches that you go, here's what I want to do. What's the best way to do it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, did I just talk myself into being a demo guy?
DSCRs. Here's what I need to know. So I've had several conversations about DSCRs. I need to know, as an investor, not the insurance guy.
Yeah.
How much cash do I need to have on hand when I'm looking for a property, or do I need anything on hand? And how quickly can I get a loan on a house? Mm-hmm. When this deal comes across my desk, I say, "Oh, I think this is a great deal. How fast can you get it done, and what do I need to come to the table with?"
Yeah. So right. So if we're talking like house hacking, that's just primary
not house hacking
stuff.
I'm talking selfishly for Brennen.
Yeah. No, I get you. Right. So but I think that's important for the comparison point, right? Like, if I'm buying a primary residence, my minimum down payments are 3.5%, 5%, 3%. Kind of depends on what you're doing. Now, like on multi-units, right? 2, 3, 4 unit properties. Yep. Anything above that is commercial.
Commercial. Yep.
But 2, 3, 4 unit properties, if I'm going FHA, it's still only 3.5% down, right? Now, if I'm going conventional, then it used to be that I had to have a significantly large down payment. At a 2 unit, I had to have a 15%. I've got these charts on my desk, so forgive me for not remembering. But and then if I was like 3 or 4%, I'd have 3 or 4 units. I'd have 25% down. Well, they've since changed that too to start bringing it down to where you've got multi-unit options also only at 5% down, as long again as it's a primary residence. Why that's important to point out is because if I go DSCR, these DSCR programs, you're going to need 20% down, right? If you start getting into then unique aspects of the type of property, right? So like those condos we were just talking about, that example, that condo downtown, those are what's called a non-warrantable condo.
All right.
Okay. So non-warrantable condo. Well, now, even if you're just looking to live in as a primary residence, non-warrantable, you can't get a conventional mortgage. You need something that's outside the box. Well, that also forces now your DSCR to go to 25 or 30% down. right? So the property type still matters, but in those DSCRs, you're going to be, a safe bet is to say you're going to start at 20% down.
Okay.
Right. And is there ways to get that lower? Yeah. You're going to get it to 5%? Not a chance. Right. But, safe bet is going 20%.
You know what the Burr method is?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do DSCR with Burr? Ultimately, I'm trying to figure out, can I do DSCR with no cash out of pocket? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Right. So So a Burr method, right, been around for a long time. TikTok made it really, really popular in like the 2020, 2021
Brandon
timeline.
Turner, Bigger Pockets.
There you go. He pushed that stuff hard. And everybody became a Bigger Pockets guy because they all wanted to be Burr people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Burr is buy, rehab, refi, rent, repeat.
Yep.
Right. And the idea was that you would, so you buy a place for, $120,000, at least up in Illinois, it was at the time. That's where I was at still. So, you buy a place for $120,000. You put 30 grand into it. So you're 150 all in, but now you can refi it, right? So you rehab it for 30. You refi it with a new value of 200.
Right.
Cash out 75% of it because it's an investment property.
Yep.
There's your 150,000 covers
$0 out of pocket.
Exactly. $0 out of pocket. Everything's back. I can tell you this because I've done a couple of these deals before, and that's always the same example I use because it works out really nicely.
Yep.
But like, there's some issues in the Burr method that people always forget about. There's some, the devil's in the details, right? Like, you can't establish a new value for 6 months.
You mean investing's not easy?
Man, So like, here's the thing that first time Burr folks always missed out on. You can't establish a new value on the home for 6 months. Fannie. Now, you get into Burr, you get into like DSCR and whatnot. You're going to have a little bit different of a situation.
Hang on. So the 6 months. So if you're an investor, you're doing this Burr with a hard money loan. You need to expect to be paying that hard money loan for 6 months.
Correct.
Before you're going to refi.
And this is the
so
number.
You need to factor in that
carry costs.
Those covering
costs.
Yeah.
Okay. Covering costs. Carry costs.
Yeah.
Most people, same stuff. But people forget to factor. They're like, well, that $30,000 budget, I'm going to have that knocked out in 60 days, and then I'll refi it. And it's like, no, you won't.
Got it.
Because here's the problem. Whether you start with hard money or you start with conventional money or government money or whatever, like, you're still dependent on a Fannie loan, a Fannie Mae, a Freddie Mac conventional mortgage.
Yep.
Or FHA is still going to bend the knee to the Fannie guideline on that you got to wait till the 6 month mark in order to establish a new value with an appraisal.
Yep.
No appraiser's giving you a new value. Well, they'll give you a new value, but you're not going to be able to use it in underwriting.
Right.
Right. So you got to be able to carry that. So you need more room built in, but also this is why I like the really nice move is when you've got the finances to be able to kind of run two of them side by side so that every 3 months you're turning again.
Yep.
Right. And you stagger them. That's where you can kind of catch a little bit of a rhythm, and all of a sudden you're, 3-4 units a year, right? And you're always replenishing. Maybe you get out ahead a little bit on one, you fall a little behind on the other, but you can start to you catch a little bit of a stride with it.
Yep.
And that's even if you went like a DSCR loan. Typically the people who use DSCRs, here's a nuance of that you need to know. The average person using a DSCR is using it because they can't qualify their own income to justify the property.
Maybe they're self-employed.
Correct. Self-employed. They're debt leveraged by a handful. Well, honestly, what I find is that you get people that get really leveraged in property ownership. I've got clients that have massive balance sheets, massive net worths in property, real estate,
property rich, cash poor,
commercial, all that, right?
Yep.
But it's like, putting that on paper and creating a clean debt to income ratio just isn't going to happen.
Right.
You got 10, 12, 15 LLCs, tied up in trusts, and tax returns run forever. And it's like, you can do all the math on that stuff, but you're never going to turn a valuable DTI, a debt to income ratio, to buy anything. So you end up in a spot of going, hey, we can go like a DSCR loan. We can go, with some of these, what's considered a portfolio loan.
Right. You
can start to get into those. But again, here's your problem with that Burr method is that now you got to think through, like, I've got to account for the next couple steps. I got to look down the road, and how are you going to get out of it? You know what I mean? Like, can you cash out into some?
So what is your recommendation for, obviously you're a resource for investors. I've already told several people about that. what is your recommendation for an investor coming in? Do they need to have a certain amount of cash on hand? Or what is because any investor is open to risk.
Yep.
You don't go into real estate investing if you're not, have somewhat of a high risk tolerance.
Sure.
But what is a safe entry level? What are the safe entry metrics?
I think one of the most dangerous
from a
things,
lending perspective.
Yeah, one of the most dangerous things in investing is that people you get into the bigger pockets worlds or any of that, and I got nothing against any of that stuff, right? I think they all bring a ton of value to the table. But you get into these situations where you're like, this guy's got 1,500 doors.
Yep.
Right? That guy just picked up a 127 door complex. Yeah, and they kind of get these really big eyes.
Yep.
And they get this really big, palate, and they got really small pockets.
Yep.
Right? And that's okay for those people, which is a lot of early on investors. It's realizing that you have to give it time to snowball. You have to be patient. Rome wasn't built in the day, right? My parents always said that, and there's value to it. They didn't make it up by any means, but like there's a value in the fact of going like, people set out and they go, in 2024, I'm getting 15 doors. Well, not on your $60,000 a year salary and 12 grand in the bank.
Right.
And no shade to that scenario, but you're the person that should go, I'm going to get my first place this year, and I'm going to get experience managing a property, having a tenant, being responsible for repairs. I'm going to do that.
That was me to a T in 2023.
Right. And then in 2024, you go...
It's a pain in the butt for anybody who hasn't done it yet.
You start from scratch, and you go, I'm going to reevaluate my assets because now my picture looks different.
Yep.
Now it's that one property you got, and for someone this year, they get the one property in 24. Right? In 25, you go, okay, now let's look at the new landscape. This new landscape includes this property. What do we want to do? Well, hey, the value's gone up on that quite a bit. Based on the type of loan that I'm in, I've got some room that maybe I grab I can grab another loan against it. I can get some of that equity out of it. Or, hey, that's appreciated well, so I'm going to leverage some of the equity out of my primary residence for it, right? And start to realize that's another investment, and that's part of the portfolio.
Yep.
And, okay, maybe this year we're going to get 3 units, right? But we're going to break that down and go, let's get 1 in the first 6 months of the year. And once that's and if we can get that performing well, because we should get it up and running faster than the first one. Right. Well, now if I've got that up and running and healthy, by June, July, then we can look to see if we can grab 2 more in the back half of the year. And maybe you only end up getting 2 that year instead of 3. Maybe you get 1 that year because you run into some difficulties on that second property that year.
Yep.
And that's okay, but you're not out ahead of yourself. Because before you know it, it's year 5, and you're like, we're going to get 15 homes this year, 12 homes this year, 8, whatever. It just kind of depends on how things perform and how aggressive you want to be. But let's say you go 1, 1, 3, 3 again, 2 again, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I just picked up 9, 10 properties, whatever, in 5 years. Like, you could probably make an argument you don't need to ever buy another one.
Yep. You pay those off, you're doing all right.
Right. Like, Yep. It's just about like in
Sounds
those
like you're saying start small.
You're using these mortgages, but the reality is, as the mortgage guy, I'm telling you, you want to build a foundation of properties to where you're leveraging the assets to pick up assets. You're not leveraging liabilities to get those assets. Those assets, those homes you own, you're taking liabilities against them.
Right.
You shouldn't need a mortgage guy anymore.
Right.
You shouldn't need me. Maybe on a unique situation here and there. Hey, I'm feeling good. I've got a pretty good basket here. I feel good about it. I'm going to go ahead into this new thing. It's got more risk, more reward, but I've got a really nice foundation to fall back on.
Yep.
Cool. Then maybe I got to get back involved in those situations, but no investor should need me for more than the first handful of properties.
Working yourself out of a job.
But you're not doing it right if I'm in the fold at property 10.
Yep.
You're not doing it right.
Cool.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and you're not listening. And I promise you this, you're not going, maybe you call me because you're like, I'm going to take a HELOC against some stuff, right? Or, whatever. But not because you need my help to buy it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think you start off small. I think you got to make sure that you're managing your risk as best as you can. Not scared of risk.
Yep.
Right? Not.
Hey, that's in my company name, risk management.
That's
what we're all about.
I'm just saying. So, but yeah, no, I think that's like, I think property investing, I think we're going to continue to see it. I'm telling you this. You have to be plugged in on education when it comes to investing in properties simply because it's become, here's the thing, it's become trendy.
Hashtag deco.
Yeah. I don't think saying hashtags out loud works.
Oh, is that how it works?
Not, I'm pretty sure you have to type that somewhere.
Doesn't Jamie get that automatically?
I don't know, man. I think if you got to like write it on a whiteboard and then it makes other people see it on their whiteboards, right? You write it on the wall. So I my wall's a whiteboard in my office, right? Is that not how that works, Gav? But like, yeah. See, we got to set up that mic for you. Just go sit in the chair. You don't need to listen anymore. Slide in.
We got to spin the whole room around.
Why?
Yeah.
Nah, that's good. It's fine. Let's see. That's why I need my cell phone to be one of these cameras. I'll just point it at Gav over here. Boom. Oh, also, I just got a text from my wife that that the sitter's going to hang out long enough because she's out tonight. This is a tangent, but she's out tonight with a group of girls.
Partying.
No, they're going to dinner at Thompson's Kitchen with other moms without their kids, so that's going to be like a party.
Maggie's out partying.
Yes, yes. but yeah, so this networking thing we're going to after this, like I don't have a curfew tonight. Check me, I'm an adult tonight, boy.
Boom. Hey, I'm with you, man.
Hey, so but no, so anyways, on investing, like it's just there's so many people out there that fancy themselves as coaches in this space that need to go away.
The guru.
Dude, they gotta go away. Everybody wants to be an expert,
and they're all getting paid.
But they haven't
$200,000 a year.
They haven't done crap. Haven't done anything, and it's like, look, I'm gonna tell you this. I can teach you how to do the stuff I've done.
Yep.
I know how to own and manage multiple properties. I know how to navigate some of the most obscure mortgages that are out there. Yep. I know how to, I know how to assess risk and build out financial plans when it comes to real estate.
Yep.
Right.
Everybody needs a lender like that is going to be able to tell them the truth and provide them with all the options.
Yeah, but also I'm going to stay in my lane. I am not going to tell you what to do, how to roll over your 401ks, right? Like, and that's unfortunately.
You're not a financial planner?
Well, no, I'm not. Not even on TV.
Edward Jones is across the road over there.
Across the hallway.
Yeah.
But I actually love my Edward Jones guy, but he's in Florida.
All right.
So don't you say anything bad about EJ. To be fair, he was my best man in my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, no, and I tell you what, his character is above board where I can just go, whatever you need to do, my man, go do it. So
cool.
But you need those people in your life. You need the people that you go, look, I already know you know everything going on under the hood.
Yep.
If you tell me to jump, I'm just going to say hi because I trust you. And you got to get those people on your team, especially when it comes to making financial moves. Like your family's lives are dependent, not on you being perfect, on you having a sound plan, walking it out, having sound advice, having men or women around you that you can trust. But yeah, it's what I know, man. Dude, we got to wrap this up here in a second. But tell me, are you coming to the men's breakfast?
Roll Tide.
You coming to the men's breakfast?
I told you about that yesterday.
You can't.
I don't think I'm gonna be there.
Man. Gavin's not coming. So I'll tell you this. Are you coming? All right, my man. So here's the thing. We've
8 a.m.
8 o'clock at the church. Here's what I'll tell you. As of today,
I'm gonna have a late work dinner.
It
tomorrow.
is the
That's all I'm
first. Gonna say. It's the first men's breakfast at our church. Right. I'm the director of men's ministry there. The title doesn't matter. It's at the church. God, I've got.
Put it in my phone.
Hold on. Here's what I'll tell you. As of today, we've got 100+ guys registered to come. We've never had a men's ministry. Even the church is still relatively young. Right, but I'm pumped. It's gonna be wild, right? Like 100 dudes just showing up for breakfast in the heyday of the old Ginger Creek days, right? Where we built our first men's ministry. And I didn't even build. I was a part of, I got invited in a couple years into it, when I was 25 years old, 26 years old.
It's in my calendar.
It just means he's got something that he's going to ignore in his calendar on Saturday morning. But hey, but I value you.
What I'll be doing, my other option is sleeping.
Well, you rest when you're dead. That's what Lombardi said.
Yeah, well, I would like to live as long as I can, too.
I get that. So, but no, I mean, so I'm excited about it. But all right, we'll talk about church another time. But no, dude,
I'm in seminary. We didn't talk about that.
Well, I know because you're in SEM back to school, which I love that you were like you didn't care much for school, but now you're back in school doing SEM.
Hey, I'm learning Greek right now.
Man. All right, so we'll do this again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Roll Tide. I'm not an Alabama fan at all.
I was about to say,
I don't give a crap about Alabama.
You're just like creating like a whole giant sect of people that are gonna be like, can't listen to this guy ever again.
Sorry, guys.
You just said Roll Tide. Here's the thing:
go Vols go.
No, we're Gavin and I are in the same boat. We're college football free agents, and no one's made a hard pitch to win us over except for a mutual friend of ours who's a diehard Ole Miss, and I think the Ole Miss people are cultists. They are.
Hotty toddy.
Dude, they are too in love with their team for not being that good. They're okay. They are ranked. And to be fair, if it was the expanded playoff already this year, they would have been in the expanded playoff. But it's really nice to go, if you let more people in, then I would have got in.
Go Vols go.
Man.
Wear some orange.
You know,
I've got a new cigar for you.
I've got
Tennessee Waltz.
Is that a
big
thing?
Orange wrapper on it. I just got it in today.
That's real?
It's real.
Oh, man.
Crowned Heads. Local cigar.
Nice. Okay, Crown Heads. They're in Nashville. So I'll tell you this. I got a message yesterday. So my Bible study, right, is this will be confusing here, but my men's Bible study is a cigar and bourbon Bible study, right? We do.
Praise God.
It is a when we study deep into Jesus. Not everybody drinks or smokes or any of that. It's just like, look, we're meeting guys where they're at, and we're just kind of hanging out, and being normal dudes on the patio, diving into. I mean, heck, we've been doing this since August. We almost got to chapter 12 of Mark yesterday.
All right.
Since August, we are through 11 chapters of Mark.
Is your plan to just walk through the whole book of the whole Bible?
No, man. Like it's going to take us a year to do one gospel.
Okay.
Like, and it's such a good group of dudes, but like, so it's called Holy Smoke. Now, here's the thing. Holy Smoke's an organization. My Holy Smoke organization that I'm a part of is based out of California.
All right.
And I had no idea about this other Holy Smokes that is here. There's a ton of chapters, and it's a layup of a name. It's no wonder more than one people.
There's so many of them.
Has stumbled onto this. However, so we've got the one that I'm part of. My uncle actually founded out in I'm gonna say I think Clovis technically, but like out in California, chapters all over the country. And he sends me a message yesterday. He's like, "Hey man, look for an update. What's going on?" We're talking. He's like, "I need your address." I'm like, "Okay." I give it to him. He's like, "All right, give me a good phone number." We've got an account rep with a cigar company that they made us a Holy Smoke cigar. And I'm going to send you some merch and some samples of cigars.
Got a white label Holy Smoke.
Bro, got a Holy Smokes. And if I showed it to you, like
Holy Ghost is in here right now.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's pretty wild. Here, I'm going to show it to you real quick because I want your...
Have you ever had Foundation cigars?
I don't think I have.
The David and Goliath? Ooh, You need it. You need it. It's calling your name. Gavin, you like cigars?
He does.
I thought we were going to be friends.
I don't like cigars. I don't like bourbon. I like Jesus.
Loves Jesus.
I guess we can say.
We agree on that stuff. Check this out. So these are cases of cigar. These are the boxes that they all come in. Really nice.
Who makes it? Where are we talking?
Bro, I can't tell you any of the details. I don't know. And not because I don't want to, because I don't know.
All right, whatever.
But
does it say Holy Smokes on the label? Holy Esteli Nicaragua.
Those are custom-made labels for.
Bro, I'll buy them.
Bro,
I'll sell them.
I'm saying, I'll let them know. Hey, I need extra samples to give to you guys so you can buy them for the humidor there at Deco. So, all right, cool. All right, we'll wrap this up, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks, Steve. And hey,
God bless.
Let's make sure this thing gets out of here.